How you doing? This is Dub FX and you'll be watching Montreality. Boom! Alright, this is for Montreality. You know what, back in high school I was a very different person to who I am nowadays. Back then I was still, you know, like a bit of a smart ass, and I've never been quick-minded, you know what I mean? So like, I come up with funny shit when I'm trying not to be funny. So that's kind of like my shtick, you know what I mean? But like at the end of the day, I was an okay student. I wasn't very clever, you know, I was just average intelligence. I wasn't even that good at music back then. But I guess, like, you know, I loved smoking loads of weed and hanging out with mates, playing hacky sack, playing frisbee. You know, to compare, like, I guess all my teachers, my music teacher even, they all probably thought I would fail in life. So it's pretty crazy that I actually turned out to do something pretty cool. Well, my first job was chemist round, so I'd deliver like medicine to old people who couldn't go to the pharmacy. That was my first job. Then my second job was did a paper round, so I'd deliver paper to people in the morning. I even wrote a song called Paperboy back then, and I used to do that all the time. That was great fun. And then I started working in restaurants and cafes and waiting and stuff like that. And then I've worked in CD shops as well, you know, but generally, you know, just normal kind of studenty type work. I never really got a big paycheck from the music industry. Basically what I did was, over the years, right, all the money that came in through the internet, so whether that's from shows paying me from like into my bank account, or money coming in from iTunes or Bandcamp or whatever, all of that money I never touched. But all the money I made on the street is what I spent. So for years I just let that build up and build up and build up and build up. And then finally when I checked it, I was like, shit, there's a lot of money. So I guess my big payout bought me my first house. Who would have thought a street performer could do that? The key to success is to be true to yourself. That's the reality. Like, don't ever do something that you're not interested in doing or that you don't feel the love for, because people will always see that it's fake. So if you say, I'm gonna make loads of money being a pop star, and you're gonna go out and make pop music that you don't actually like, but you're doing it because you want to make money, you're never gonna become famous and you're never gonna make money, because everyone will see that you're a fake. So people like Ricky Martin or Britney Spears or whoever's out there making pop music that I particularly don't like, but those people that make that music genuinely like the music they're making. If they didn't like it, they wouldn't become famous. I like the music I make, which is probably why I'm successful. You know what, I'm not a very good reader. I'm pretty shit at reading books. I love reading comic books, graphic novels. I'm not particularly into like superhero stuff. I like Batman, Batman's cool. But I like stuff from Vertigo, which is like a DC spawn-off of their comics. So stuff like Preacher, 100 Bullets, Swamp Thing, you know, I love those kinds of comic books, Alan Moore type stuff, Grant Morrison, yeah. I'm actually writing a comic book at the moment, and it's called Living in Lucidity. When is that expected? Next lifetime probably, but I'm working on it at the moment, and yeah, I mean, look, I don't have time to do it, so I'm working on my music career. When I have kids and I can't go on tours and stuff, that's when I'm gonna start writing that. So maybe in 2-3 years I'll have a comic book out. I'm gonna try anyway. A favorite cartoon character, well, I guess Batman would have to be like my favorite like superhero thing. But then there is also a comic written by Alan Moore called The Swamp Thing. And he's probably actually my other favorite character, if not my real favorite. And the thing is, like, Swamp Thing was originally a horror story, right? A horror comic story about a guy who's a Swamp Thing, and he comes and he steals the girl, and some guy has to try and kill him. But in Alan Moore's version of the Swamp Thing, he is a conscious being created from the earth, from Gaia. And so he represents Earth at its purest core. So this guy in Swamp Thing, he goes around basically fixing problems with the earth, and like kind of putting, and it's really all about the conscious energy of the earth itself. It's an amazing comic book. There's also a Grant Morrison comic book called Animal Man, which is a similar thing. Took an old comic book character, which was like a superhero boring thing, and turned it into a consciously minded guy who's all about saving animals rather than using animal powers to save humans. It's cool. What was I in a previous lifetime? I was probably a sack of shit somewhere, but you know, I think people have this thing where they say, oh, I was Cleopatra, I was Napoleon, I was whatever. But you know, I think, if anything, I don't believe that in particular that reincarnation exists in the way that most people view it. Like people say, I was another human, I was this and I was that. I don't think that at all. I think I'm reincarnated by the conscious energy that's built up until now. So I am just an accumulation of vibrations and energy that's picked up, that's obviously picked up on what was here before me. So I'm not necessarily reincarnated from something, I'm reincarnated from everything. And I think that's how we all are, you know. And I guess the more attuned you are to your consciousness and the more you kind of think about stuff and try and get out there and think about what's really going on in the world, and not necessarily about the news, but I'm talking about consciousness, the more you can pick up on the general kind of collective consciousness of the universe, you know, and extending beyond Earth as well. If you are that attuned, I'm not that attuned. I try my hardest to pick up on what's happening around me. So that's what I think, you know, I was in a previous lifetime. I was just conscious energy, I guess. Whatever the flower fairy would make for me would be fine, because she is my favorite chef in the whole world. Tetris is my favorite video game. But yeah, no Tetris. Well, I've got to record a new album that's long overdue. I was meant to have that already by now, so I'm going to record a new album with the Snarophobe guys. So I'm really happy to be collaborating with Snarophobe. They're part of Convoy as well, part of the Convoy Collective, and they're going to be performing here tonight, playing some spin and some tunes. They've got a new album out, which I'm on, so check that out, Snarophobe's new album. So I'm going to record that, and I've got to go home and rest because I've done 40 shows in like 60 days, so I'm ridiculously tired. But yeah, that's kind of, yeah, just go, go, go. Bob Marley. If I could work with Bob Marley, he would be the one. But you know what? I would happily work with any of his children as well. They're all wicked. You know, there are so many amazing artists out there. You know, it depends on what genre. I really also like producers, in fact, like producers like Caliber, High Contrast. There are so many, New Tone, there are so many wicked logistics, all wicked producers out there who do like liquid drum and bass, DJ Marky. You know, I really get off on production. That's really where, when I make my music on the street and I'm doing it, people say I'm a performer and I'm an artist and all that stuff. Really, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm more of a producer. I'm trying to make music that I would like to sound like. So, you know, using my beatboxing and the pedals and the effects, all I'm doing is I'm basically trying to recreate something that's in my head, which is inspired by music that I listen to, which is generally like liquid, funky, soulful drum and bass, deep, mellow, rugged dubstep, none of the rah 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 shit. Old school 90s hip hop. I love all music as long as there's soul in the music. That's what I like. So, you know, Fat Freddy's Drop. That's a band I'd love to work with as well. Talents. I'm really good at going to the toilet. I like cooking. You know, but Flower Fairy shits all over me on cooking wise. She's way better. Talents. You know what? I think rather than music being my main talent, I reckon my real talent lies in tapping into the awareness, the conscious energy around me. I'm pretty shit at one-on-one. In fact, people think that because I kind of zone out. I'm not really that good at focusing in one place. So when I'm talking to like a crowd, or when I'm just feeling the energy from a crowd, that's where I feel like I'm actually more talented at. So in a way, I feel like a bit of a fraud. I don't think my music is as good as people think it is. It's just that I've tricked them into thinking that it's good because I'm delivering something that everyone feels like they should have in that moment. I'm just kind of, you know what I mean? I'm hijacking people's consciousnesses and saying they want a bass line, I'm gonna give them a bass line. So that's kind of where I feel my real talent lies. I've got a couple. I've got, that's my Flower Fairy tattoo on my wedding ring. That's basically my dedication to her in life, so that's my Flower Fairy tattoo. I've got that, which is all dot work. I've got this is my first tattoo I got when I was 19. My mum bought it for me. I'm Italian, so libertà in Italian is there. Yeah, my passion for tattoos, you know, I kind of I love tattoos. I really want to get loads more. I just don't want to get a bunch of shit that I'm not happy with. So I'm just waiting till more ideas strike me. I'm saying that's that. Yeah. I got that in Nepal, and then a lady in London did the rest of that. And I plan to do the whole sleeve and tie it all together. And yeah. Okay. So I've got a business card of someone who wants me to go and eat in his restaurant. I've got a marker which I was using to sign some stuff. I've got the URBANA mission press release. I've got my wallet. I've got my phone with a Game Boy cover on it. I've got my name tag. And I've got a big wad of cash from selling CDs and DVDs. I made $800 today for selling CDs and DVDs. All off the people in the street.